Welcome to Shurley English. This presentation features the writing process good writers go through to turn a basic idea into a finished piece of writing. Following these basic steps, students learn to organize their thoughts and expand them into sentences, paragraphs, and essays. Come along and let me show you the writing process. Shurley English curriculum uses a combination of unique features to help students make the English language arts connection. The steps of the writing process integrate all of the unique features in a logical way. Students learn to successfully write for all purposes with competence and confidence. Shurley English scaffolds instruction for students throughout the writing process. Students receive direct, systematic instruction in daily grammar and writing traits, and then begin learning to write for a specific purpose and audience. Many opportunities are provided throughout each grade level as students learn to write narratives, informational pieces, and opinion, persuasive, and argumentative pieces. Our curriculum teaches students that writing is a process, and each step has its own set of requirements. Students learn to follow these steps during numerous opportunities for writing across the curriculum. Let's take a closer look at the 6 steps of the writing process. Prewriting is the first step where students learn to gather and group ideas for writing. Initially, students must decide how they want their writing to affect the reader and who the primary reader will be. Knowing the purpose and audience is important to determine before writing begins. After determining purpose and audience, students will select and narrow their topic. As they gather information and details about their topic, students will use a graphic organizer to organize their ideas on paper in a visual way. Some types of graphic organizers are clusters, Venn diagrams, outlines, and prewriting maps. This is an example of a prewriting map. As you can see, students learn to develop main points and supporting details for their topic. They will also learn to spend ample time generating and organizing their ideas, which will make the next step of the writing process even easier. Step 2 is the rough draft. During this phase of the writing process, students use ideas from their graphic organizers to write the rough draft. Every good writer knows that the rough draft is never the best draft, so they don't worry about mistakes during this phase. They will make improvements later. The first 4 items on the rough draft checklist teach students how to organize their rough draft writing. The 5th item on the checklist directs students to use the effective traits of writing as they write the rough draft. Rough draft item number 6 includes developing a title for the rough draft, and item number 7 gives students directions where to store the rough draft. As students learn to write paragraphs and essays for all purposes, they are provided with guidelines to support the organization of ideas. One example is shown on this slide. Notice how Shurley English supports the writer with step-by-step instructions. Here is an example of a rough draft. Notice in the left-hand corner, Quigley has written his name, the date, the writing assignment number, the purpose, which is to describe, the genre, which is descriptive, the audience, and the topic. The topic happens to be a special pet. Here is what his rough draft sounds like. My neighbor has a dog named Bobby. Bobby is definitely a mutt, and his fur make him look really strange. It is very wiry and thick. It has black, white, and tan splotches. The hair on Bobby's chin is long and white, like an old man beard. My grandpa has a long white beard, too. The bushy hairs above his eyes look like the shaggy eyebrows of an old man. But despite his funny appearance, Bobby is loved by the whole neighborhood. He is such a sweetheart. Bobby is the kind of dog that never meets a stranger. He is everyone's best friend. Title: Bobby. Step 3 of the writing process is revision of the rough draft. Revising means finding ways to improve word choices and sentences in the rough draft. As students follow the revising checklist, they learn to read the rough draft several times silently and out loud. Reading the rough draft aloud will help students find rough spots that could use improvement. Students learn to check their ideas, organization, word choices, voice, and sentence fluency as they follow the revising checklist. They are taught to write their revisions in the blank spaces of the rough draft and draw a line through words or sentences that they want to delete or replace. Here is an example of what a student's rough draft might look like after the revision step has been completed. Step 4 is editing the rough draft. Editing is correcting mistakes in spelling, grammar, usage, capitalization, and punctuation. Students learn to use writing trait number 6, conventions, to edit their work. When an editing mistake is found, students will write the correction above it. Afterwards, they place the rough draft back in their rough draft folder. An edited rough draft might look like this. Since revising and editing go hand in hand, each writing lesson incorporates a revising and editing schedule. The schedule includes a time for individual revising and editing, partner revising and editing, and finally, peer evaluation. Step 5 of the writing process is writing a final paper. A final paper is a corrected copy of the rough draft. It should always be clean and neat, with no editing or revision marks on it. Students will use this checklist to write a final paper. Here is an example of what the final paper might look like. Bobby, Everyone's Best Friend, by Quigley Shurley. My neighbor has a dog named Bobby. Bobby is definitely a mutt, and his fur makes him look really strange. It is very wiry and thick and has black, white, and tan splotches. The hair on Bobby's chin is long and white, like an old man's beard. The bushy hairs above his eyes look like the shaggy eyebrows of a mountain man. But despite his comical appearance, Bobby is loved by the whole neighborhood because he is such a sweetheart. In fact, Bobby is the kind of dog that never meets a stranger. He is everyone's best friend. Step 6 of the writing process is publishing. The publishing step is a chance for students to share their writing with others. To get started, students will follow the checklist and rewrite their graded final paper in ink or type it on a computer. Ideas for publishing will always be included in the directions of each writing assignment. The unique features of Shurley English give students the concrete steps to make the English language arts connection. The steps of the writing process are taught and then repeated consistently during all types of writing. Won't you join the Shurley English revolution today and give your students the tools they need to become competent, confident communicators? If you would like more information about Shurley English, please contact a customer service representative at our corporate office. The telephone number is 1-800-566-2966. You may also find more information on our website, which is www.shurley.com.